Clearly Victor Schilling was wrong and I wasn't. Pereira versus Ankalaev 2 just happened and it was fucking awesome, dude. Just as I predicted, the Alex we know and love, the one that marches forward relentlessly looking for the KO, gets the fucking KO. Victor, just as I told you, brother, Ankalaev is indeed not too fast for him. Victor Schilling proved himself to know nothing about fighting once again. He didn't even need to set up his overhand, just brute force pressure. DJ said it best in his last video: if you force someone to fight and push forward, there's not much that the other person can do. And he couldn't have been more right. An overhand was all it took to hurt him, dude. To give you guys some context, Victor Schilling is another MMA commentator, way more popular than me. But as soon as Pereira lost the first fight, he got all sloppy over Ankalaev's cock. I don't think he's gonna win any of the striking exchanges between him and Ankalaev. Like, come on, bro, with that power, any striking exchange? Any? You're out of your mind, bro. I think Ankalaev is much too quick for Alex Pereira. Him exchanging with Ankalaev will end up with him getting caught. Bro, you're fucking comical. Shut the up. It was a nightmare for the Dagestanis that night. Abus lost too. Who would have thought? I'm joking, guys, I'm joking. Merab had an amazing performance as well and was a pleasure to watch, as always. Regarding the next UFC event, I'm extremely excited for Mario Pinto's matchup on the main card. This is a manifestation come true for him. I've been following him since back in my days working for the LFL, in which he won a tournament there and beat the very respected Turkish fighter Kasim Aras, an extremely stocky wrestler with crazy pressure. What I love about Mario Pinto is he knows how to adjust his game plan under pressure and doesn't underestimate any of his opponents. He's a class act and he's gonna go far. As for Oliveira, I couldn't be more excited for his next matchup, dude. In my opinion though, he's fighting a bit too soon considering he just had a KO loss, but his experience alone should get him the win. As for Alex Pereira, after his last performance, I don't think Alex should move up in weight classes, guys. Despite being 38 years old and way past his prime, he looked quick and powerful. I think he should keep fighting at this weight considering he has another 3 fights left in his career depending on how they go, maybe even more. But as for Victor Schilling, I think he has another 3 videos max left in his career before he switches to brainwash shorts. At least Casual Take MMA was fairly neutral on it, not calling for any winners or losers, but he said that Alex Pereira getting knocked out cold would mean the end of his career, which is somewhat agreeable considering his age and the damage it would cause. But listen, guys, if you watched Alex old fights at Glory, you would know a healthy Alex isn't losing to Ankalaev, let alone get knocked out cold. The problem with most of these commentators, and I say that with skepticism, is that they haven't watched many or any, as a matter of fact, of these UFC fighters' career before they even got to the UFC. Before you can even get to the UFC, you have to at least be purple belt level in jiu-jitsu, as stated by Joe Rogan, as well as have high level striking. Otherwise, you have no business being in there. If you do jiu-jitsu now, you know how hard it is and how long it takes to get to a purple belt. Blood, sweat, and tears, and a little laughter, to say the least, is what it takes. But seriously, development of these martial artists before they even get to the UFC is gradual and takes years. They have at least a dozen matches in their respective discipline before even considering going into MMA. On top of that, when they do transition to MMA, they have a dozen fights in MMA before getting to the UFC. You have to consider that most of these fighters start amateur in MMA and slowly build up their confidence in the sport before going pro, for which they need a clean, long record with about a dozen fights. A good example would be 9 wins, 2 losses, 10 wins, 3 losses, 7 wins, 1 loss. That takes about 3 to 5 years as a pro MMA fighter when you factor in injuries and setbacks like an opponent missing weight or events being cancelled or simply not being able to book fights. You're probably thinking Mr. Smishology, but of course that's the case. If this is so obvious, then why aren't these MMA commentators, again with a lot of skepticism, taking the time to research these fighters when their whole careers are all over the internet? I can tell you why, because they just want to get a couple bucks, but we won't talk about that. Having worked at Levels Fight League in Amsterdam, I had the honor of meeting glory fighters such as Chico Fernando. He's an example of someone who will without a doubt make it to the UFC if he took the time to learn jiu-jitsu and transition to MMA. The Alex who fought Ankalaev in their first fight was either injured or having a bad night, or both, because if Pereira puts on pressure, you're out of there. He came forward like Ankalaev had no business being in there with him, dude. It was beautiful, man. As for Merab, I think the winner of Petr Yan versus Umar should fight him, but it might be unfair on Petr Yan to not give him a title shot after all these incredible back-to-back wins. But we could say the same about Umar, who's only beat extremely credible fighters in the UFC, maybe aside from Brian Kelleher. But what do you guys think? And who do you guys think Alex Pereira is gonna fight next? Let me know in the comments. Love you guys. All love, Victor.